See, we were the first police surveillance group in the country.
I heard.
We the first ones to follow the police.
I heard.
Panthers got it from us.
Is it true that the gangs begin to work together?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we competed during the uprising. But what's also interesting is that following year, not to rush ahead, but when Leonard Deadwyler, who was taking his pregnant wife, who he thought was about to give birth, trying to get to General Hospital, and tied a white handkerchief on his antenna, speeding across town. Police started chasing him, and I think the cop's name was Gerald Bova, if I remember. I remember some things. Said that when Leonard Deadwyler stopped the car, he had his gun out on him. Says the car lurched forward or something like that and caused his gun to discharge. We didn't buy that. And so we formed an organization called the Temporary Alliance of Local Organizations, developed, started meeting, and organized the Community Alert Patrol. The Community Alert Patrol, the riders in the patrol were from different neighborhoods.
What year was it founded?
1966. That was
Okay.
June. Deadwyler was June of '66.
Mm-hmm.
Right after he was killed, we started meeting. We started meeting at there's a place on Central Avenue by Vernon. We were meeting down there. We started meeting, and then we met at a church, a few places. But
It was organized by guys from different neighborhoods.
yeah, but it was some other people who were not from neighborhoods that were involved too. But I was one of the people who went. And what I'm saying is, when the Temporary Alliance of Local Organizations decided to create Community Alert Patrol, I was there in all of those meetings.
So these were businesses that started.
Not businesses, people who had some leadership
In the community?
ability and history in the community started coming together. They were from different organizations and so on. But I'm saying the people who would then become the force in the patrol were street toughs from various parts of the city.
Mm-hmm.
We had Cosmo. His name was James Henry. We called him Cosmo. He was from way over on the east side, somewhere else. But there was a number of guys, and no women. Some women were background support, and also in the office of the patrol, we had women working. But the people who hit the streets were guys, and we were from different neighborhoods, and it brought us closer together too. And then the patrol lasts a little over a year. We made it through with donations and people helping us buy gas and stuff. And then after a while, it began to wear out. I have some funny I have a story I'd love to tell about the patrol. Community Alert Patrol involved volunteers using their own cars and putting a sign on the side of the car that says Community Alert Patrol in big letters. We taped the sign on both sides of the car on the doors, and Community Alert Patrol in big letters, and then below we say to protect and observe, because LAPD puts to protect and to serve. So we said we out here to observe you, because you ain't right.
Right.
And so so that's what it was. And so it was volunteer hours. We had a roster. A guy would say, I want to ride with the patrol. We say, okay, you can't drink. You can't have no drugs in the car, no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a valid driver's license. And you got to be expected. You have to expect to be pulled over by the police.
Right.
And get tickets. We had a couple of volunteer attorneys. One was Arnett Hartsfield, who I miss, who's was a fireman.
Yeah. I interviewed him, but he was like 97 at the time.
Arnett had become an attorney, and he chronicled all that racism in the fire department.
Right.
Great guy. Arnett used to come. Hartsfield would come to court with me. We'd go to the Wall Street court, down on Wall Street. White judge, who was a cool judge, because all white people ain't wicked. This judge was sympathetic to the patrol. So I used to go down there with what I'd call a shoebox full of tickets. I had so many tickets. They wrote me tickets. For example, they wrote me a ticket because my front license plate was, the bottom of the license plate was 11 inches up from the ground. It has to be 12 or more inches up, according to their book.
Wow.
They wrote me a parking ticket once for being illegally parked at the intersection of 30-something and Jefferson. And of course, 30.
They don't intersect.
They don't intersect nowhere in the town. This is the kind of stuff. And so I'd go to court, and the judge would have to recess the court and call us in judges' chambers in the back and look at the tickets, and he'd say, look, I want to do you right. And so what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to let you go on these 8. I'm going to let these tickets, I'm going to squash these. But these 7 you got over here, I'm going to have to send you to driving school. You have to go to traffic school to keep your license. He made sure I kept my license. The office is on Adams and Catalina.
Okay.
There was an older guy who let us use his office. He was retired. We used his office. We had a big antenna up there. And we had CB radios, Citizens Band radios.
Okay.
You know, antiquated. I still got some Citizens Band radios, long story. But anyway. And a lot of times right-wingers would come on the channel we were on. You goddamn niggas, get out. You need to get off the street. And that kind of stuff, yeah. And sometimes they'd try to jam the radios up. Well, anyway. So we had been in the office that day, joking around, me and about 5 or 6 guys, and we talking about what we gonna do that night and what areas we gonna patrol in and all that. And so I had a 38 Plymouth, which is what we called a hoopty, so a gangster car. And to be a hoopty, the headlights had to be completely outside the fender to be a hoopty. Oh. And so, generally. And so I got this 38 Plymouth. All the police in LA knew my car. In fact, I ran into a guy about 20 years ago. I was in Leimert Park at some cultural event, sitting in a place, and a guy tapped me from behind. I looked around, he's an older black guy. He said, "Yeah, you crook?" I said, "Yeah, that's what they call me." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm retired LAPD." I said, "Oh, you are?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I just wanted to tell you something." I said, "What is that?" He said, "I worked 77th Precinct, which we used to call Little Mississippi, by the way." He said, "I worked 77th Precinct. And every morning when we would report for duty, they'd take us down in the assembly room, and they had a picture of you and that car you drove. And they said, look for him while you out. And if you find him, give him hell. Whenever you run across him, give him hell." He said, "We had your number, every cop." I said, "Thanks for telling me."
Was there a line of demarcation between the civil rights movement and what you were
doing?
Well,
what happened was
locally.
What happened was James Foreman. Talk about mentors. James Foreman, who was the one we call the old man in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He was the one, probably the oldest guy, and certainly had more experience than anybody. He used to come to LA to raise money for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, for SNCC. And we met. Somehow we met. I'm not even sure how we met. And the patrol began the alert patrol began. I had become field commander because we gave each other military titles. The patrol was kind of phasing out. And
why?
Well, we relied on community support. So we would hit people up. Sometimes people would give us their gas card to gas up the cars.
Oh, yeah, like a mobile card or something
generosity like that. And shit. The stuff dried up. The support dried up.
Did the abuse dry up?
The abuse didn't dry up. But the support. And after I just described all the shit I went through, I was getting a little tired. I said, it's only a matter of time before they nail me.
Right.
Because, you know, look at the car, man. You're driving around town. Here I am.
Yeah.
What y'all want to do?
Look at me.
Look at me.